All right, guys. Video number 2 for the well, it's technically, I guess, video number 1, but whatever. Majora has sent out a take on early access and essentially gave us a little bit to talk about on why he thinks it was an excellent, or they think it's an excellent choice that it went into early access, or they're pushing the early access. I have my take already, and essentially to sum it up is I believe it is ready for early access, and then since they have a foundation, I think it is. However, I can understand at the same time why someone would want to push it back, simply fact that just to have just a little bit more of quality life improvements. So I get it. So I get both sides, but I am just more or less pushing on the why, because I'm a spoiled little brat and I want the game to come out. Essentially what it is. Okay. This was an excellent choice to delay the launch of early access. Unfortunately, for most games nowadays, the consumers now treat early access as a launch, having the game in a promotable state that can determine the longevity of the game is more important than ever. Now, this is speaking from Dark and Darker. I feel like you can just tell. I don't know where the proper channels are to put this feedback, but here are a couple things I value as very important. Very important to have on initial launch of early access. This is all going to come from being burnt on Dark and Darker. I'm predicting it. Character completion. From the last playtest to the more recent playtest, I was really hoping for more drinks, skills, perk options for some, if not all, the characters. I was sad to see that we actually regressed and took some away. My feelings of build diversity or trying different things out was diminished by this not exemplified. We still have class Trapper that has one skill to choose from, basically, if you want to call it that, which was also nerfed, and only option is to play around traps, with also very little perks to choose from to avoid staying too long on one point. Or to summarize, with 4 classes, we really need more options, not less. I don't think the game should be pushed to launch thinking you'll focus work on this during early access, but needs to launch with these classes more fleshed out. I would understand where this person is coming from, but this game isn't Dark and Darker. This game isn't going to have that kind of treatment. So diversity, I don't think is their main goal, but it might be their in-game goal. I don't think they're paying attention to it. I think this is a very good point. I think this could be something that they could definitely work on, but they're not going to, because they said they're not going to do that. But this is a mute conversation. Gear brackets. I talked about this prior to the launch of these, as I've seen this mistake in other games in a similar category. Obviously, there was other mistakes with this implementation during an early access, like level 15 required. Once you split the pool of players into multiple brackets with different loot tables, you create a monopoly of wealth. My time feels less valuable in normal bracket because the loot isn't as good, and the loot becomes free farm because most people just want to deal with high roller. Just don't want to deal with high roller. I become turbo rich and bored because I am in a bracket by myself. To just go into the other bracket with my funds and Timmy stomp, there is no chance for a Timmy to set me back there. The setback there is no chance for a Timmy to have a come up. I understand that finding an approach to onboard new players, etc., is essential, but splitting up your population is not the way. Last play test was by far more engaging and fun than the previous, and I think this may also almost be the sole reason. Finding out ways to make your loses easier and more bearable instead of trying to create a game with no loses. The loses are the drive, and for these type of yeah, that's true. For these type of games, basically like the thrill of if you're gonna get out or not. That's basically what he's saying. And then also what he's saying is like he can go and do like the early game stuff, like the new player stuff, like basically Squire gear stuff, and he can get rich off that because he knows what to do, what to sell, how to sell it, and all that stuff. Now, if he goes into a higher bracket with that said stuff, he might lose it to a gear checked person, right? That's been doing it for a long time. So there's different ways of handling that, I guess, but there's different ways of actually like seeing the whole picture on that. I think regardless, the way they're doing it is fine. And I don't think this is something they're going to work on either. But these two things, as well as combat improvements, are the most essential things to sort out early access. If gear or balance is broken, that can lead to fun times as long as it's addressed in a timely manner. Those things can be sorted out during early access, but a game that isn't fun lacks players in their online experience, lacks completion or discoverability of what is good, and what isn't will just not be played again. Y'all are doing a lot of things right. Have a lot of people and content creators looking at this game and waiting for another game like this. I wish y'all the best the next couple of months and excited to see what's next. I like his take. He's basically saying that he doesn't want to get gear. He wants to be able to get rewarded. Essentially, he wants to get rewarded for his time, and he wants to be able to have fun in the meantime. He wants to have diversity with each character, so that way when he's fighting somebody, he has to determine in each fight how to approach them and how to win these fights. This is what entirely makes the game fun for extraction games. Also, that all said, while doing that, if you did accomplish getting gear, killing the players, now you have to escape, but you have the AI to worry about, and there's still the lack of players that might, or there's still the players that might be able to come and get you. So the excitement is all there, he's saying. It just needs to be more abundantly clear and needs more diversity in that fun, which is, I think, is fun. I think it's great. However, none of these things are going to be worked on during early access. Why? I don't know. I think that they might look into it, but working on them, no. I think this is going to be the kind of stuff they're going to work on during early access whenever the game comes out. I think right now they want to worry about more stability in servers, and they want to worry about how to approach new players and keep them going. I think that is what they want. They want to add content after content inside this place, inside this thing. I think that's what they said. And I mean, like in their announcement that they said, they said that the core gameplay, class balance adjustments, and weapon usability improvements, you know, ranking system. So things, item drop and looting experience improvements. These are the things they're going to be working on. I think that these are going to be good things to be worked on. Enhanced item and gear information display. I think these are all quality of life things that they need to be working on. But none of this stuff that he wants is talking about it in here, aside from the item drop and looting experience. The class balance and adjustments and weapon usability improvements isn't adding. I don't think it's going to be adding new class skills or passives to it. I think this is just something that they're gonna. I think this is just something they're gonna do. I think this is just something that they're gonna do, like in a sense of like, how much damage is Brick doing with this ability? How much Bartender is benefiting from this ability? Blah blah blah. So I don't know. I think it's a good take, but I do not think they're gonna work on it. I think they're gonna work on it when it goes into early access. I think these things are fine. I think the map, this is kind of weird, but as I don't, it's a good take. It is, and I think half of the stuff that he's talking about is getting burned off of Dark and Darker, or is burned from Dark and Darker. So, yeah.